sort of touch on Justin Trudeau and wrap him up. This was posted by Ryan Garrettson on Twitter. This is a lesser-known 2021 campaign speech from Trudeau. It sums up just how vile and divisive this man was and still is. This video highlights how unwell this man is. No one has stroked anger or fear more than Trudeau. Let's play that.
Over the last little while, you've probably seen the disturbing anger of anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers. You might have seen them marching downtown against local businesses that are following public health rules, or yelling at a grocery store clerk or a server at your local diner, or even threatening people at one of our rallies. Let's be clear. It's your freedom I'm focused on. The freedom of the responsible majority of us who are fully vaccinated. The freedom of our children under 12 who can't yet get their shots. Because that's what's at stake. And I will always stand up for your right to be safe, to be in places that are free from COVID-19, your right to not be forced back into lockdown. So we'll stand firm on our commitment that federal public servants should be vaccinated. We'll make sure everyone on your plane or train is vaccinated. We'll protect businesses that mandate vaccinations from unjustified lawsuits. And we'll pay for the rollout of proof of vaccination programs for every province and territory.
The bizarre thing with Justin Trudeau is whenever he turns on that very serious voice of his, you know he's going to say something absolutely moronic. Like he never turns that on for really important. Well, I mean, I don't know how often he's actually said anything really important, to be honest, but he always gets very serious when he's going to say something just truly awful and something fundamentally un-Canadian. And especially now looking back on that and just how wrong he is about everything he said there and how fundamentally, and I mean, the Ingram ruling here in Calgary in the Alberta courts, countless rulings, the legal precedent now is shifting to just highlight how absurdly wrong that man was on this. It's wild. Wild to see that.
Well, and I got to be honest, one thing that does actually upset me about, the situation we find ourselves in is the fact that it does seem like there's going to be an election in the fall. At least there is going to be an election that does come eventually. Is Justin Trudeau going to be held accountable for what he did over the last few years? Those who are in his cabinet, are they going to be held accountable for what he did over the last few years, for what they did over the last few years? Or are they going to retire and everyone's going to forget about it? That's the thing that I'm concerned about. That's the worry I have, is that we're going to forget. I mean, you already look around now. You sit down at a restaurant, you don't remember that you may not have been allowed to do that over the last few years. You don't remember the punishment they put you through, because realistically, most people don't carry with them all of that negativity on a daily basis. It's just too much. I mean, there was curfews in Quebec. You think about the insanity that was done to us over the last few years. Of course, people want to forget. But if these people, these politicians, they go without consequence for their actions, which, I mean, what was the news recently about the Canadian military? That this was an unconstitutional enforcement of the vaccine mandate. Correct me if I'm wrong there. That's how far we got with this insanity because of them. And they're gonna hop off now. They're gonna leave. They're gonna exit politics while they're sitting on high ground. It's that's one thing I think is a true shame.
Yeah, and I discussed this, the interview that should be out either today or tomorrow with John Carpy and Ava Chipiuk, rather, excuse me. We discussed whether there would be sort of, I mean, for the Ingham ruling particularly, most of the people who were ticketed, harassed, faced jail, faced legal fines, were sometimes bankrupted trying to pay for legal defenses, forced to crowdfund. Thankfully, Fight the Fines helped over 3,000 people with legal defenses. But I mean, there was countless more out there who were in life-altering struggles. And the way that they've set this up, it seems that there may not be consequences for the people who violated these laws. If you or I went out and violated people's fundamental Canadian charter rights, we'd be in jail, no questions asked. But politicians seem to get a free pass. But yeah, John Carpe does weigh in on that on our interview, so check that out. He can speak to it more authoritatively than I.